Welcome to Indie Artist Survival Showcase.
Hello.
Cheers. I'm here with Izzy Outerspace today. Today I talk with Izzy Outerspace. We discuss becoming a performing artist, obstacles we've had to overcome along the journey, and making great video content. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to my channel. You'll learn all about becoming a successful indie musician here in Los Angeles and watch awesome live music takes from some of my favorite upcoming artists. So, Izzy and I met in San Diego 6 months ago, maybe?
I don't know. Yeah, July or something?
Yeah.
June?
We were both playing a So Far Sound show in the Meatpacking District.
The garage.
The garage. That was a cool space.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah. That was my first So Far Sound show.
Really?
Yeah. I was so excited.
I think it might have been mine too, my first.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I think we probably talked about that
Yeah.
at the show.
That was really nice. It was really, I think it was sold out.
It was.
Yeah.
That's always a good sign.
Definitely.
It made me feel really good.
Yeah.
And then I learned that you were from LA.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. Like, we're both from Los Angeles. And when I saw you perform, I was just in awe because I thought your music was so beautiful and very ethereal and just really enjoyable. And
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It's crazy. How long have you been here?
I moved here 2019, April.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that's 3 years for you.
Yeah, going on 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I know it's flown by.
But you're from New York.
So I'm from Arizona, but I was in New York for 9 years before this.
Damn.
Yeah. So I guess you could say I'm kind of from New York.
How would you say it compares to here? Like, as an artist,
that's a great
as a musician.
Question.
I'm interviewing you now.
Yeah. You know, New York is definitely, it has its own scene, but I feel like when I was there, a lot of artists kept moving to LA.
Really?
Yeah. Like I remember watching through Instagram the scene here in LA and just thinking like, oh, that's where I need to be. You know?
Yeah.
And like there's definitely, there were some friends that had bands and some really cool projects and different DIY venues, but from the time that I moved there to the time that I left, like a lot of them kept getting shut down and
oh wow.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of similar with here from what I've heard, but I don't know, and now after COVID, I know everything has changed, you know, so I can't really speak to it. Like I know that there's still a lot of creatives in New York, like there's always going to be, but it's also expensive like here, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Do you feel like the music, like, you know, the style of music
it's different?
Is different? Like what's being played there?
Yeah, there's definitely more of like a laid back, chill vibe here. I think with like life and music, you know. A lot of friends had this sort of soul funk dance vibe happening, or like post punk dance vibe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's something that like I've always wanted to sort of incorporate into some of my songs and that I'm working on in the newer stuff. Just, you know, little bits of it.
Yeah.
Still, like, will keep my sound probably. But,
yeah.
I love that because, like, you know, especially growing up on the West Coast, I always listened to, like, a lot of blues or country or, you know, there is rock, but it's, like, a very West Coast rock sound.
Yeah.
And I think, like, everything's a little more industrial. Like, there's a lot of underground techno music.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah. I mean, for you, like, I know we've talked a little bit just, you know, as friends about music, and I know kind of you and I both got into it, I think, for similar reasons, but I think you mentioned in one of our conversations that it was like more a recent thing. Like you didn't ever, growing up, you never thought you wanted to be a musician, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was more like, I mean, I did play flute when I was like really young, and I just hated performing so much. Like I would freak out, like serious. Like one time I had this concert and my brother was actually playing the cello. That's the only gig we ever played.
Oh.
And there was a second flute, so I was the first flute, you know? And basically I played the song that was like a minute and 20 minutes long. I played it in like 30 seconds. Like I just like riffed it, and like everybody was off. And after that, I was like, I'm never doing a gig again.
Oh no.
And then I did play some guitar for like 2 years, or like I had like lessons.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted to play the guitar, and like, and then
was that in high school or?
Yeah, a little bit before. But then I think when I got into school, I kind of was obsessed with studying. I think I don't know. I kind of like
an overachiever, perfectionist.
Well,
like
sort of.
Myself.
I wanted to please my parents, and then I thought, oh, that's what you have to do. And I think I don't know if I was a slow learner, but I spent hours like studying, and I stopped playing music and stuff, and
straight A's.
No, not necessarily, but yeah, I was doing well in like languages and stuff.
Oh, cool.
But not math and science. So
how many languages do you speak?
3. Or like I used to speak French.
Okay.
Fairly fluent, and then German, and yeah.
Yeah, I got into guitar probably around a similar age, like middle school, high school, but I had a few lessons and it was just too hard for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I had this classical teacher.
Cool.
She was like 85 years old. And she taught me all these classical songs. And I was like, that's not, kind of what I want to play. But that's kind of all she offered. And then I just kind of was getting, I was like, what's the point of learning an instrument
if it's not fun?
Well, no, more like I was more seeing it as in like in the future I'm not going to be able to like use that.
That's right, because you didn't.
It's so funny.
You didn't think you wanted to be a performer, right? So.
Well, yeah, and then I was like, nobody's going to make money, like.
Yeah.
But
I was raised in a similar way. Like none of my family were artists. So
really, yes.
Yeah.
Same with mine.
Yeah.
I mean, my uncle actually is a sculptor.
Oh, okay.
Sculptor guy, but
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely took my family a minute for them to come around to realize that like I was serious about this,
That's amazing. Yeah.
And because even the few guitar lessons I had were from my stepmom. So it was like in the summer when I was like living with her and my dad, and I think that's partially why
she played.
No, well, she like hired a guy, and so when I got back to Arizona, it was like I didn't have that, and I always was like begging my mom for singing lessons, and she was like, "Sing in church."
And you did?
I did, yeah, because I mean, I wanted to sing.
Yeah.
Forever, like.
I was a really shy kid, and I was really quiet, I think, and we had like regular like music, like theory stuff.
Oh, cool.
And then we sang, every week. And it was like 1 hour a week of like music lessons in like the regular school I went to. And we had this, how do you say, like a test thing?
Yeah.
And we had to perform a song in front of the teacher.
Nice.
And I was performing Amazing Grace.
Beautiful.
And I remember I practiced with my dad. That was like the only time he played the saxophone at the time when we like rehearsed it together. And I was like, yeah, that's so nice,
Yeah.
And then I went into the test, and the teacher was like, I hear nothing but air coming out. And I'm like,
you're like, well, I thought you were supposed to teach me. Like, what? This is not my fault.
Yeah, I think, and then I was like thinking about it, and I was like, damn, I think that I want to like, do some singing lessons.
Yeah.
And my dad was always like supportive with like music stuff. I feel like with like lessons.
Oh, that's cool.
With everyone in my family.
Yeah,
he forced my brother to play cello.
Wow.
My brother didn't want to play cello. It was so funny. He hated it, but he was kind of forced to. I had 2 years of singing lessons, and it was like
cool.
this classical opera singer almost.
Nice.
And literally my voice was like this, and she was kind of really like opening it up.
Yeah.
But then I stopped after that at like 18 or 17.
That's huge though. Like I had a few lessons a few years. Well,
yeah.
I think it was almost a year, I studied with an opera singer.
Really?
Yeah, and the same, like
That's amazing.
I always felt like I had the power to,
Yeah, I think you do have a
sing
good like
loud
opera
but
voice.
it's still like really shaped like the control that I felt I had, and like the just being able to do runs and things, and
that's amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never even thought to do that before. Like I just happened to get connected to him, and
Oh, that's amazing. How long did you do that for?
about a year.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was like a package deal. So I was working with him, and then my mentor Chris Kapika, who is my music theory teacher, and I'm still working with him. But the opera singer I was working with, John Brancy, went back to the opera because he's still a performing artist.
Nice.
He basically just gave lessons to get through COVID. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it helps, I think, even just with your confidence, to have a mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that my singing teacher, she felt very proud because she had, I had such a kind of voice that was sort of non-existent for a long time.
Yeah.
And, she was able to work me, I guess. Yeah.
Work me loud. She brought you out of your shell. She shot you to the moon.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. Well, so then did you decide that you wanted to do this as like a career?
I think about it every day,
Yeah.
Am I doing this as a career?
Yeah. And you are.
No, but yeah, it was kind of close before I was it was 5 years ago basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I was going through a horrible breakup, and then I kind of had I used to be very, very, I'm still kind of like that, but very existential. Every few months, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I here? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I had, at that point, already tried a couple of things. Like I was doing some production work. I was really into film.
Nice.
And I had tried out acting for a couple of years. And then I also had been a dance teacher. And so I was kind of at a new point where I was just working 3 jobs and trying to figure out where, what I was going to do next. I think I always kind of had just an interest in any sort of more creative work. And anyway, it was during one of those existential times where I felt like, I really want to play the guitar. I just felt like I never learned it because I just felt like I was not great at it or good at it, and so I just kind of threw it out of the window. And I decided to sit down. I was just gonna do 10 minutes. 10 minutes a day. I can swing that. I know I'm not gonna be amazing, so I'm just gonna try 10 minutes. No pressure kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of turned into a thing where I would start spending hours, and I would start writing my first few songs.
Nice.
Which I never really thought I could do. And I don't remember writing a lot of poetry. I just remember as a really small child, I would learn lyrics.
Okay.
And be obsessed with lyrics.
Oh yeah, I
would
write
them,
analyze every line of it.
And I would write them down. I would basically write them down, and then I would have to sing them. And I would have this book where I would write down the song, and then I would give myself marks on how well, how accurately I sang the song.
Was that while you were in?
It's when I was 10 or 11 or something.
Oh, so before you even started doing music.
Oh yeah,
class and stuff. That's great.
Yeah, I was I don't know. Yes, I was obsessed. There was this German rock band. They're still around. They're called Die Toten Hosen, and they're
Die Toten Hosen.
And
I gotta look
they're
them
just
up now.
the guy has such a such a rough ass voice.
Yeah.
And so it sounds, if anything, sounds like what people imagine
German
the German language sounds
yeah.
like. It sounds so extreme like that.
Would you would you say he's like a metal band or just like
No,
more
it's just
rock?
like a rock. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. It's good though.
Okay.
I still like them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you remember your first performance?
Well, as like
Like as a like
when I started writing songs.
yeah, like your own songs.
Yeah, I think it was I had this friend, Tanya, and we worked at a coffee shop together, and she played the cello. She plays the cello still.
Nice.
And we actually played a couple of gigs together last year. She was in my
cool.
band. Yeah, it's
Nice.
really cool. But we started like doing covers. Like after the coffee shop closed, we would have certain days, like Wednesday night, we would bring our
fun.
instrument and like play in the coffee shop.
Nice.
And so yeah, we had a gig together, and it was cool. It was cool. That was my first performance, I think.
Cool.
Yeah.
I remember mine. I played other people's music quite a bit. Like when I first moved to New York, I did some backup vocals for a few different groups. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I actually moved there like for fashion.
Yeah.
And to do costume design, and then I was like, well, I don't have my sewing machine, and what's like.
So you were making your own designs?
I'm gonna sing. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Not very good. Like I kind of, again, my mom gave me sewing lessons, and so
yeah,
everything else from there on, I just kind of tried to teach myself.
right.
But yeah, I remember like when I first got there, I was like, you know what? I'm in New York. Like I can definitely find somebody to sing with, you know. And I went on Craigslist and like met some people. Yeah. The first group I sang with was like this R&B group from New York.
Oh, cool.
And
R&B?
I was like, well, I don't know. She was the first to get back to me. And she was like, I sang like, you know, the first soprano or whatever. And she's like, yeah, you add so much to the harmonies. And like, it just felt so good, you know,
That's awesome.
to like be a part of something. And it was like so nice to not have to carry around like fabric or like whatever else, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then, I remember when I first did give my first performance, I was like pretty nervous, and it was just a bunch of my girlfriends, and like,
yeah,
I made it a thing. It was during Greenpoint Open Studios. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was fun.
I think my first year of performing, I was in this other band, and I was a guitar player and sing, basically backup singer.
Yeah.
And every gig we had, I was just like so terrified the whole day, but like the whole day would just be like me panicking.
Leading up to it.
Yeah, it was not fun. And I think I started street performing, and that's how I kind of like got over that.
Yeah.
But it like took me for like a long time.
Yeah.
And then the street performing in itself is kind of like a scary thing. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Because you don't know who's going to walk by or like.
Yeah, and there's been some weird instances and stuff, but.
Really?
Yeah. Just like sometimes people come up to you and they're like standing really close to you. Or one time there was this girl, I think she was really high on something, but she like started like touching my leg, and she was like, I'm in love with you. Like, and I was like, girl, like, are you like gonna be okay?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But it was highly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of like
Boundaries.
my strategy is to. I'm not very confrontational sometimes. I'm just kind of like, I'm just going to do my thing, you know?
Kind of ignore it.
But sometimes you do have to like, just be like, can you get away?
Yeah.
But it is like a thing also that people around, when obviously people are around and about, and I don't know. I feel like they look out for when things like that happen, which is kind of nice to know.
Yeah. So it's not like you're performing in the middle of nowhere with nobody around. So,
Yeah.
No, it's good.
But I don't know how it is, you know, for everybody. But the few instances I had where it was a little bit like, some people stepped in or something.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I've done busking a few times.
In California or New York?
Both, like, only once in New York. I remember it was like, I think it was 2014 or 15 maybe. And it was like probably the same year that I gave my first performance. That was October. So it was like a goal of mine to like go and busk. So I went on New Year's Eve in the subway, and I couldn't find a spot because, of course, like I had no idea what I was doing, and like, you know,
are they marked like where you have to like?
You just have to get there and like.
Because that's what they do in London.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have like certain areas where it's like marked.
So in Santa Monica, they have, I think it's like an application program.
Yeah.
To
It's free, right?
Yeah. Well, you have to have a permit, so you have to apply, and then you get a spot. But in New York, the subway, it's just like first come, first serve, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
But I read that because I was in New York 2 years ago, or I don't know when I was in New York. Yeah, 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I was thinking about going busking, but I thought you need like a license anywhere, or do people just set up anywhere?
Yeah, just set up.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember it was so cold, like my fingers were like frozen.
Yeah.
I made $6 and I was like, okay, that's good. I did it.
Year's?
New Year's, yeah.
Oh my God.
I did it. And then I was like, all right, it's too cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was also like really excited because I was mostly playing my own songs.
Yeah.
You know, and so people were like perking up, and I think it definitely helps to sort of play in that environment because most people, especially in New York, are just like busy walking by, and like, you know, it's, for me, I always saw it as the challenge to like grab people's attention.
Yeah.
And that part was really fun.
But I think you're really good at that naturally as a performer.
Thank you.
When I saw you perform, you know, you were really good at that, like interacting with the audience and kind of really getting good vibes going. Like,
Thank
really,
you.
I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like kind of the opposite. I guess I want to like more draw people in a different way.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
I
like,
do admire what you're doing, like, and what you're able to do.
Thank
and
you.
I think it's really cool. Yeah.
What I like about your music and your whole persona is like, it's almost like mysterious, but like in a very soft, like alluring way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a siren.
Yeah. But I mean, I think I remember I told you, it was like, this is the kind of music I dreamt of making, you know, because like,
really?
like I love all of the different sounds that you have with like your pedals and stuff. And I feel like that's something that I've explored a little bit, but then
you're more into rock and blues, or in your
I think
Sean, like music.
I did create? Like a few. I did make a soundscape for a friend's art film,
cool.
And that was like very much with loops and pedals, and I really liked that. But
yeah,
I guess just from like, I love to sing and tell stories, so I feel like that's, you know, more conducive to like the blues sound, and even now that we're working on producing the songs, it's like getting more of like a clean pop vocal with like the rest of the soundscape around it.
Yeah,
it feels important to like have that.
Do you produce your own stuff, or you have someone?
It's been a mix. Yeah. So like the last 3 songs I worked with a producer that I put out, and then this year Satellite I recorded with Sweet Myths, and that song we did just the 3 of us, and then we had a friend come in and overdub bass, and we sent it off to Mario DeLiva, who's been like mixing and mastering. But for all of the like the song that we're gonna sing together, and then this series, I'll just do it because it's a little easier when it's stripped down. Like there's not as many sounds. Like I've been learning just to do like the acoustic, you know.
Yeah.
Production.
I've been trying some mixing. I just feel like it's hard, man.
It is, yeah.
I've been doing some videos releasing, I believe, this month and next month, of some live performance with just my drummer, and you know, but
I saw a little teaser on that.
Yeah, we did one
Instagram.
at the beach.
It looks so beautiful.
It was amazing. I mean, we're also a good team as like really great creative collaborative
It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm grateful.
I think, like, all of the videos that I've seen, I know we talked a little bit about this before too, but like, I didn't know that you had worked in film before, and now it makes sense because I think you have a really good eye.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch.
I mean, I've worked with that one director a lot, Matthew, and he's got a company called Youth Parade.
Okay.
And I shot some stuff with him, and he's really yeah. We just kind of collaborate, and it's really cool. But I like having some sort of imagery, and
it's important.
Yeah,
I think this last year for me, I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna make videos with no budget.
Yeah.
Like, how am I gonna pull this off? Like, I know that I want to make amazing quality stuff, but then it's like the reality sets in where it's like, okay, I spent a lot of money working with the producer last year to get my 3 singles out, and I'm really grateful for the experience, but then that kind of put me over the edge for like all the income that I make from gigs, which I was going to put into creating content, got like way lower. So like, I don't know, how do you navigate that? Because is it kind of like you work on trade or just...
I do find a lot of video people, they just want to create sometimes
for their portfolio and stuff.
And I had one guy even that was, sometimes just like to support, which is like super amazing.
That is great.
But also, I've kind of like, this last year was really tough financially. So I just feel like I have been prioritizing getting like good recordings.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I didn't make a video for my last song, but then decided to do this live video of the song at the beach and do like a live performance,
And that's hard at the beach because, I mean, I would imagine that you guys were working against the elements.
No, it wasn't that bad. I mean, we went out and it was raining that weekend, and it was raining, like it wasn't raining in LA, but it was raining at that specific beach out in Malibu. Like we drove like out there, and then it was raining, and we were like, "Fuck, it's rain. It's gonna be too wet." And then we drove back, and it stopped raining. Like 5 minutes driving back towards Malibu, and then we were like, "Should we go back? Maybe it's not raining anymore." And then it rained at the beach.
It's still raining.
Yeah, so we had to do it a different day.
Okay,
but it was good. Yeah.
I would, because I know like sometimes here it gets really windy at night, so
it wasn't too bad that night.
Good.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, the shooting outside seems like it's a good happy medium. It's like you get the beauty of nature.
Just have to battery power your stuff.
Yeah, I haven't done like a live outside yet.
You should try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be like Indie Artist Showcase, Survival Showcase 2.0.
Yeah. But you've been doing some good videos, no?
Yeah, I'm really proud of Galaxies Collide. We did that one in Vegas and in Barstow, and that one I did have a little bit of a budget, so I think that helped. But also my friend Glenn like donated a lot of his time.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And he edited the whole thing, and he found like
that's cool
footage from NASA and like did a little overlay and made it really magical. So
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the latest music video I shot, we did downstairs here in the house.
Yeah. Oh,
and
really?
Yeah. I'm editing that one myself, so
it helps to get the most skills, like,
Yeah.
mixing, video editing.
Yeah. I remember 2018, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I want to do music full time. I don't care about anything else. I'm going to make this work. And I remember Googling like, okay, what can I do online to make money so that I can like tour,
Yeah.
so I can like work while I'm touring. And now that I've actually done some touring and some digital marketing, I'm like, okay, this is hard, like actually to do both at the same time.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think just touring in general is like, it takes a lot. It's
I've
like,
never toured, so I want to
well,
this year.
I mean, but you go down to San Diego and you go down to Long Beach, like it's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing. Like you spend hours in the car and it's like, it takes a lot out of you,
It's true. Yeah.
So I think that's, like I haven't really been touring like nonstop, but just the bit that I have been doing down to San Diego, like doing 3 gigs down there and coming back, like, I really have to like plan my week out really strategically.
For sure. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely think like video editing, especially now with like TikTok and everything.
And it's kind of, yeah. You can use many different apps or whatever. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Yeah. What about like your long-term dream? Like, would it be touring? I know you mentioned you were looking for a booking agent. Is that still a goal of yours?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to tour, and I would like to maybe have one more band member, so not just be a duo, but like maybe a trio. Kind of keep it minimal.
Yeah.
Although it's nice to play with more people for sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like it is scheduling.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like really hard.
Yeah, because you had a full, like a big band for the Moroccan lounge, right?
Yeah,
Like
it was
6
cool.
people or something?
I think so. Yeah, we were 6-piece.
It's so great.
And I had, that cellist, guitarist, bass, drums, keys.
Nice.
Had everything. Yeah, it was awesome.
Did you write out all of the parts for each piece?
No, people just kind of like added their stuff. And I do like that a lot.
Yeah.
But I feel like now with the new stuff I'm recording, I feel like I want to be more intentional about the guitar parts that are in there. And then that live, it can just be replicated that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it works both ways. It's just kind of, one is more of a jam,
right?
A sort of, I don't know, a jam band thing maybe.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
I think it's like, before I knew much about music theory, like I would just kind of choose players based on like how I got along with them. And that seemed to work out really well because it's like if you can read people's energy and you know that like certain people work together, typically like they're going to play well together. I mean, I don't think that's always the case, but that seemed to be my philosophy and it worked pretty well.
In general, how you're like when you're jamming and how the energy is, how it feels.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a vibe well.
Totally.
And so this drummer we were playing with before also,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, we had like a little fallout in 2021 or something, and then we kind of needed some space, I think, and just like reconvened.
Nice.
And I did, have the bigger band, and that was cool. But then it also felt like everybody had like so many other projects too, so it was just kind of like hard to get them all together.
Yeah, to coordinate schedules.
But it was yeah. So right now I'm just with the drummer.
I love playing with the full band because it's like,
how many band members do you usually have?
5, 4, including myself.
4?
Yeah,
that's cool. So you got like an extra guitarist on top of you? Not actually on top of you, but I'm sorry.
I usually play rhythm and then DJ will like solo and just add some sparkle,
I think I've seen you with him at So Far, right? He was playing. Yeah. Does he live in San Diego?
He does, yeah. So cool. We've done a lot of duo sets together. Yeah, it's nice to play, especially when we do like cover gigs. It's like I'm really just learning basic chords so that I can like accompany myself. So he just adds that extra layer and on top of me. No, but it does like, it makes it a lot easier too to like play with someone to keep the rhythm as opposed to like me just keeping it by myself sometimes. Yeah. Like,
do you use a looper?
I have
on the guitar, like.
Yeah, there's certain songs where I have, but I'm not comfortable enough with it where I can just like throw it on any song. Yeah. It's like I have to practice it first,
Yeah, I started using the looper for the vocals.
That's so cool.
And I really enjoy kind of playing with that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, on the guitar, I would love to start kind of more doing some soloing stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just not that advanced, and it's kind of like what I'm working on right now, I guess.
Yeah. I made a chart that's like daily devotion, and I have five things on there. So it's like a bullet journal kind of.
Yeah.
So it's like 20 minutes of covers, or original music.
Oh, I love that.
Like practicing those two things. 20 minutes of just singing. 20 minutes of guitar like technique. Mm-hmm. Like either soloing, like transposing solos or scales.
Yeah.
And then piano, and then songwriting. So
that's amazing.
It's
honestly, do you do all of those every day?
I just started it like January 1st, and not all of them every day. Like I've definitely done like practicing my own stuff or covers every day, and like singing. Like those are the two main ones, and then writing is up there too. I guess the three. So that's like an hour. Because I'm trying to do like usually I would practice for an hour or two at a time, but then it's like it's hard to sort of pull myself out of that, or like I'll do like I'll get really sucked into writing. So I just wanted to be like a little more aware of that, to have the balance.
Yeah.
And definitely like practicing scales and guitar technique is my least checked off box for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's something that I would love to get into more, because it's like I think part of it is just being comfortable and like getting it in your hands,
Totally.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I'm taking guitar lessons again with we're doing an exchange. My old bassist,
cool.
and I give him vocal lessons.
Oh, nice.
And he teaches me guitar. He's really good. And he knows so much theory too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is difficult, and I've been kind of like just focusing. I'm just kind of playing around, and I know that's not very efficient, but
I mean,
it's kind of like the strategy that works for me right now. But I know that I have to get more rigorous, and like, I don't know, I just kind of like spacing out when I play music and stuff,
I think it's like a balance.
But it's a balance.
Finding what does work for you, because it's like if spacing out is like the way that you practice or the way that you write, then you have to like honor that,
I know, but you want to get better. You want to improve.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Like how do you.
That's why I wanted to do this like bullet journal.
I like
was
that.
Like I gotta like give myself a little more structure.
I think that's amazing.
To be
You're so much
aware aware of it.
That's amazing. And especially also like I think that's a technique that is used in like business and stuff, right? Like that they do the 20 minutes of focusing heavy on one idea and then 20 minutes on something else.
It definitely feels more approachable, because like even when before I really like dove back into songwriting, because I would just, like I said, have like a random day where I'm like 2 hours of like songwriting, and then like I wouldn't do it for a week or two. And, I think 20 minutes, like it's enough time where you can actually get a good chunk of stuff done, but it feels like it's something that you can add into your day. Like even if you're really tired or something, it's like, okay, 20 minutes is doable. Like
it's like the 10 minutes a day almost.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Even 10 is good.
Like, even 10 will be good for
me. I did do that. It's like if I do 20, it's like a full X. If it's just 10, I'm like
just a half. I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
Just to like, because sometimes I feel like I'm so critical of myself, and it's like I'm only focusing on like what I didn't do.
Yeah.
Instead of like all the things that I did do. And
Yes.
Yeah, and I feel like that can put you in like that downward spiral of being like, oh, why
Yeah,
didn't
are
I
you
do
in
this?
that
Or
a
like,
lot, or do you feel like you're able to kind of like, I mean, I feel like it's a lot of people's journey
yeah,
in that way, especially if you're like doing this art stuff, because you don't know if there's going to be a reward
yeah,
at the end of it, in a sense. Like,
yeah.
you're just kind of doing it, and I've been
There's no
more
guarantee.
I've been more adjusting my expectations, so I don't get into this like negative spiral of like, you know, trying to live every day like
Yeah.
sort of like the way I want to, and like
I think what you were saying is like to just
enjoy the
accept,
process.
yeah, accept where you're at and like,
Yeah, and
yeah,
enjoy the process of like that you're putting yourself out there,
yeah,
and you're doing it. You're Although maybe right now nobody sees it, you
yeah.
know, and I think, yeah.
I think it can be really daunting depending on like what you focus on, you know, because I know like some people have said like, oh, but you know, like how did you grow your following? And I'm like, what following? You know, it's like, I don't know. It's like all just depending on how you see it. So I try to
Right.
like, I try to just, yeah, focus on like the little wins and like celebrate those, because even this last year, you know, I think I finally found a good balance between having marketing clients and making my own schedule, and then also like doing music. And
Yeah.
so, and it took me years to get to that point. Like, and I would still have like anxiety, you know, like when I worked a full-time job or like multiple jobs that would be like essentially full-time,
Yeah.
just so that I could like balance and try to like, you know, control my schedule in that way. Like, I always felt like I wasn't doing enough for like whatever it was, like whether it was my music or like for clients, you know. So I've had to really like catch myself this year. Yeah. Because I think that's what it is. It's like sort of settling in and being like, okay, I am doing it. Like this,
Right.
you know, even if like I don't end up making millions of dollars or whatever it is that the goal is, you know, like
What is the
just the
goal?
fact that you're doing it is like huge.
No, it's true, but
Yeah.
what
My
is the
goal?
bigger goal? I mean, it's to do it full time. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I would
that's
love
kind of,
that.
yeah, but you could be doing it full time and still like, you know, barely pay rent.
Sure. Or like there's lots of different ways, like we were talking earlier about, you know, how I think both you and I are like very interested in creating our own brand and image and storytelling.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists are like making a living by playing cover gigs, and there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, like I'll do cover gigs and it pays pretty well, you know.
Yeah.
But I also like, I feel like as an artist, like I want to create the message that,
Because the
yeah,
satisfaction of that, of
yeah,
being an artist, is in creating.
yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you can still be creating while you're playing covers, but I think
Definitely.
I've always like, yeah, been really interested in the writing portion of it, like the,
Same.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was interesting because a few years ago, I think it was in 2021, I started having like some physical issues. And so I had really bad tendinitis, and it was from this waitressing job that I had
In your
combined with like guitar.
hands or something? Or?
Yeah, like the wrists and stuff.
Oh.
But, and then I also have this weird reoccurring thing where it's like, I guess it's just aging, you know, on some level. But since I haven't been working out either so much, I get like these chest inflammation, like of my chest lining. It's like it's a thing
my
called
gosh.
chondritis. And
Does it hurt?
yeah, it feels like you have like, it feels like tender, and it feels like you have something, like when you're breathing, you just can kind of feel it. And the first time I had it, I thought I had a heart attack because it has the similar symptoms of like it stings sometimes.
Yeah.
And I went to the emergency room and I was like, do I have a heart attack?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
But then they were like, no, it's just the inflammation thing.
Mm.
But anyway, I was going through some spiritual stuff, or
Yeah.
maybe I was going through like, I think it was just like,
Some purging.
you know, I think it's like a mind, body, spirit thing where, and I guess I wasn't able to work the way I had been in the past. And I think sometimes it's also scary to have that time open.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are you doing with that time as a creative? Like, are you able to like write all the like, what are you going to do? And I think mentally for me, it was really hard to get adjusted to that. And
like, how
you
to,
know,
how
as
to
in
best
like,
spend your time.
well, it's more like also like, am I worthy of this time that I have now available to do what I want to do? Like, I felt like I wasn't worthy of it or something. It's like a gift of like having the time, more time.
Yeah.
To like focus on that.
Yeah.
But then mentally it was hard because I think I was also more, especially me coming into like music and feeling like my expectations were so low of what I was going to do with it. And then I felt like I was growing, you know, and it was growing and I was growing. That I felt like it exceeded my expectations in a way of like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but now I'm obviously like I want to achieve new levels, of course, but
new peaks to climb.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I think sometimes it's kind of like The Artist's Way. Have you read that book?
Oh my gosh, it's right here.
But it is that, though, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like about
So
making the time, and you go on artist dates or whatever with yourself, and, like, you do make it a priority to, like, sit down every day and write, or, like, I mean, you do have to write with this book.
I can relate to the worthiness thing for sure.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that it's like good that I kind of like got sick and like I couldn't do what, you know?
Yeah, but it helped you to realize, like, have that greater
how
perspective.
the mental, yeah.
If once you are like trying to reach those greater goals, you know, whether it's like more streams or more like influence, more followers, whatever, it's like, I believe that you're only gonna get so far as like your core beliefs will let you.
True, yeah.
So it's like you kind of have to dig deep into that sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like if you're not, you know, getting certain numbers, if you're not seeing growth, but like you're putting in the work, then, you know, maybe it's not like an outside thing, maybe it's like an inside thing.
But I think there is like, I'm sure there's people that teach it, but like like a mindset course for
artists.
For artists.
Are we gonna start a new course?
I mean, the little that I know, you know, but I did
coming to you in 2024.
But I did learn like how to be, and I think that's kind of the first thing where I made this first attempt in my music to just be kinder to myself and to just be like with that 10 minutes of guitar.
Yeah.
And you know, before everything, I've just been always so hard on myself. And I think that's why, I think it also had this mindset of that I had to be good at everything that, you know, within the first 2 months of doing it.
Yeah,
and like stupid shit
I can
like
relate
that.
to all of that for sure.
You know, but it's kind of like a stupid ego thing. That
because it takes time.
Yeah, it just takes a lot of time. And I feel like I guess, writing and like playing has really taught me that you just have to humble yourself. Yeah. And you just have to...
There's always more
sit down and do the fucking work. And, you know...
chip away at it one day at a time. I
think so.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it's also when you're younger, sometimes you just have like a little ego thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. So
you know?
much so. Yeah. What did you study in school?
I studied sports.
Really?
Yeah, because it was a stupid reason. And this is my logic, right? It's like, I was really into pole dancing. Yeah. Because I was like, as for like a fitness thing. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, well, I don't know if I can take a dance, like if I can do dance at university. And I, you know, So I was like, I'll just take sports sciences.
Wow.
And like that will maybe help me to get like a good job as like, because you're studying physiology,
Sure.
sports psychology, sports massage.
I love it.
And I did do the personal trainer thing.
Okay.
I did fail my test. But no, I did that for a while. I did graduate. Yeah, but I failed it once, and yeah. But no, anyway, so that's what I did. But it was all because really I wanted to teach pole dancing, and I kind of like did that on the side a little bit at university, and I set up 2 poles in my house.
Nice.
And I printed little business cards and like advertised lessons at like supermarkets. And I had 2 clients, and it was cool.
That's awesome. Whew. All right. Well, Izzy, let's play your song.
Yes. Is that okay?
Warm Summer.
Warm Summer.
Yes. And you mentioned that this is a love song.
Yeah. A nostalgic love heartbreak song, I guess. Yeah. But it's up to interpretation too.
Absolutely. Well, beautiful song. You can find it streaming on all platforms.
Yes.
And you made a really awesome music video for it.
Yes.
Right? On YouTube.
Yes. Yeah, my YouTube actually has a couple of like live videos and stuff, and yeah. Awesome. Check it out.
Yeah. And one other thing, you mentioned you have been working on new music, so I just want to share.
I mean, I'm recording this year, and then I don't know. I don't have a release date yet or anything, but stay tuned.
All right, here's Warm Summer by Izzy Outerspace.
1, 2, 3, 4.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. You can now save our version of Warm Summer live on Spotify and all streaming platforms.